Rent is the only bill you have to be approved to pay. Nobody approves you for a phone bill. Nobody screens you for electricity. But a roof you have to earn the right to pay for. This is how landlords treat you at every level of income, from zero basers to $1,000 a year. Not the rent, the treatment. It's 11:42 on a Tuesday night, and you're filling out a rental application on your phone. The fee is $65, non-refundable. You know how this ends. You knew before you started typing, and you pay it anyway, because not applying is the only thing worse than being told no. $65, a week of groceries, gone in the time it takes the screen to say submitted. Level 1, 0. No income means no lease, and no lease means you live inside other people's leases. Your name isn't on the door you sleep behind, it's on your sister's couch, on a friend's floor. You're a guest inside your own life. The motel on Route 9 takes you without an application. $304 a week, cash, which comes to $1,773 a month, more than the one bedroom that rejected you, which wanted $250. You do that math standing at the front desk, and you say nothing, because there's nothing to say. The room doesn't need you to qualify, it just needs you to keep paying more than the apartment would have cost. A job application asks for your current address, and you type the motels and delete it, and type your sister's, and feel like a forger. And the $65 you paid last Tuesday, the landlord never even opened your file. The listing had 40 applicants. They charged all 40. That's $2,600 in fees for one set of keys, and in most states it's perfectly legal. You don't know it yet, but you're going to meet that fee again one day, from the other side of the table. Rule 1. Below the ladder, you don't pay rent. You pay penalties for not being able to. Level 2, $18,000, full-time now, $9 an hour, 40 hours a week. You did everything they said. Take-home lands around $290 a month, and here's the math nobody explains. The industry standard says your income has to be 3 times the rent. 3 times. Which means your paycheck qualifies you for a $500 apartment, and there is no $500 apartment. Not in your city, not within 40 miles of your job. The cheapest studio on the market is $890. The formula isn't rejecting you. The formula is telling you the apartment you're allowed to want doesn't exist. The leasing agent isn't cruel. She just slides the paper across the desk and says, "Is there someone who could sign with you?" And now you're sitting in your car in the parking lot rehearsing how to ask your uncle to legally attach his name to your life. He says yes. He also says, "Don't make me regret this," and laughs, and you laugh, and something in your chest doesn't. Rule 2, the formula never says no. It just sets the yes where you can't reach it. Level 3, $30,000. On paper, you qualify. In practice, you compete. Somewhere, a company you've never heard of has already sold your last 7 years to a stranger. It's called a screening report. Your credit, the phone bill you paid late in 2022, the eviction filing that got dismissed but still shows because filings stick for 7 years, even the ones you won. The landlord reads it before he reads your name. Your deposit comes back adjusted for risk. $2,400 becomes $2,800. A full month of your labor held in someone else's account because a file said maybe. You send the application Thursday morning and check your email 11 times before Sunday. The answer comes Tuesday. The unit has been filled. You find out later that the tenant who got it applied Thursday afternoon and was approved the same day. Same unit, same rent, different file. Rule 3. You're not competing with other renters. You're competing with the version of you a database sells. Level 4. $55,000. Approved in 6 hours. A welcome email with your name spelled right. For the first time, the machine works the way the ads promised, for 11 months. Then, the renewal letter, rent goes up $104 a month. You do the escape math at the kitchen table. Movers, 180s. A new deposit, $1,900. Application fees, transfer fees, 2 days off work, call it $2,600 to leave, against $1,980 a year to stay. Staying loses slower, so you stay. And here's what you don't know yet. That number wasn't guessed. There's software for this. It prices your renewal against the cost of your own exit, calculates how much you'll swallow before moving, becomes cheaper, and stops just short of the line. You sign the renewal at 10:20 on a weeknight, pressing hard enough that the pen goes through to the table. Rule 4. The increase isn't priced against the market. It's priced against your exhaustion. Level 5. $85,000. Something turns, and it takes you months to name it. The dripping faucet you report on Monday night is fixed Tuesday before noon. The landlord texts back within the hour, with punctuation, with your first name. At renewal, the increase is $40, with a note that says, "We value residents like you." You didn't become a nicer tenant, you became expensive to lose. An empty unit costs a landlord $2, $3, sometimes $4,000, repainting, relisting, rescreening, a month of silence where rent used to be. At $30,000, you were the risk. At $85,000, you're the revenue, and revenue gets its faucet fixed. The strange part is how it feels the first time the property manager greets you by name in the parking lot. Good, and then not good, because you remember Sunday nights refreshing an inbox that never answered. You don't know it yet, but the $65 fee is about to vanish from your life, for exactly the wrong reason. Rule 5. Nothing about you changed except the column you sit in. Cost, or revenue. Level 6, $150,000. The tower downtown has cucumber water in the lobby and a leasing agent who stands up when you walk in. She tours you through 2 units and a gym you will never use, and then she says the sentence, first month free. And we'll waive the application fee. Waive it. The same $65 that bought you a rejection at 0 is complimentary now that it wouldn't dent you. Discounts flow uphill. Free months live in buildings full of people who don't need them because towers like this compete for tenants with options, and nobody here needs punishing. You take the free month. Of course you take it. But signing the lease, you catch yourself doing inventory. The fee waived here, the fee charged there. The deposit that was doubled once, now barely a formality. Rule 6. The less you need the discount, the bigger the discount gets. Level 7, $300,000. The final walkthrough takes 11 minutes. The property manager runs one finger along the counter, finds nothing, and mails your deposit back with $23.61 in interest. Your state requires interest on deposits. Some don't. You learned that from a letter, not from any landlord in 15 years of renting. And that's it. That's the last one. The bank's pre-approval is already in your inbox. A landlord once took 3 days to trust you with a month of shelter, and a bank just committed to 30 years before lunch. You buy the house. You think you're done with applications. The applications aren't done with you. You never fill out a rental application again, and you notice its absence the way you notice a missing tooth with your tongue for a while, and then not at all. Rule 7. The ladder's reward was never a better landlord. It's the last one. Level 8, $1,000. The duplex was supposed to be an investment. It came with a dashboard, a screening service, $35 per applicant, and a drop-down that decides who pays it. You leave it on applicant pays. Everyone does. It's the default. On a Tuesday in October, an application arrives. 29 years old, 2 jobs, 30 hours, $400 combined. A cosigner listed, an uncle. Risk score, 62 out of 100. Flagged amber. And you catch it happening. The math running down the file before you finished reading her name. 3 times the rent would be $2,700. She clears 25 or 33. Short. The calculation completes itself without asking you first. 10 years ago, that file was your file. You approve her anyway. You even waive the double deposit the dashboard recommends. But the fee she paid, the $65, already cleared. It clears the moment they hit submit. No approval required. You know that because you set the drop down, and you never thought about it once. That's the cost of the climb nobody itemizes. Not that you become cruel, you don't. It's that the sorting runs in you now, natively, quietly, and mercy is a setting you have to remember to change. Rule 8, the system doesn't retire the people it's sorted. It promotes them. Tonight, in a city you've lived in, a $65 fee is clearing on a card that couldn't spare it, typed at 11:42 by someone who already knows the answer and applied anyway. The listing has 40 applicants. 39 of those fees buy nothing. She knows that too. She pays it because a roof is the only bill you have to be approved to pay. Being believed is the real rent. The first rent. The one nobody names, at every level you ever lived on. The application never goes away. One day, it's just your turn to read it. And what you do with the drop-down, that part is yours.